Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the British Sea Hurricane Mark 1B, sitting at 2.0 battle rating in realistic battle. Now, you've seen pretty much all of the Hurricanes from me before in reviews, and I quite like these planes. They are very entertaining at the lower levels. Let's get into this one. How does it differ for example, the Hurricane Mark 1 late, which is basically the one that this one can be most compared to. The maximum speed in this plane is 404 kilometers an hour at sea level. At 4500 meters it is 386 kilometers an hour, and at 6500 meters it is 351 kilometers an hour. Now, that is definitely not very fast, just like the other Hurricanes. This might be a little bit slower even, and not a fast plane, especially not compared to competition like the F1 BF109 for example. Top speed in a dive in this plane is also nothing to write home about, with 627 kilometers an hour before it redlines and 700 kilometers an hour before it rips apart. Control stiffening in that also plays a role, because it is not solid smooth going up until 700 kilometers an hour. Of course, the control stiffening already starts a little bit at 400 kilometers an hour, and you start to feel it at 500 kilometers an hour. The plane does stay functional though, doesn't completely lock up, and the elevator in particular stays workable, so you can get out of your dive even at 690 kilometers an hour, which is basically already a little bit too late, because I ripped at 700, but I'm sure if you start heavy rolling then it can happen a little sooner as well. Stall speed in the plane is 130 kilometers an hour, which is basically the average. Many planes have a stall speed at this level of 130-ish kilometers an hour. Firepower on the plane though is quite magnificent, really great. It has 8 times 7.7 millimeter Browning machine guns with 2800 rounds in total, which is 350 rounds per gun. I used a 600 meter convergence for these matches and a stealth belt, which works quite nicely. Ammo load, like I said, excellent. Now, the acceleration. This is a sea Hurricane, which means that the landing gear is built a little bit heavier, and the structural integrity of the plane is slightly reinforced, so the plane won't fall apart when it has a hard carrier landing. This means that the plane is heavier, and that means that the acceleration in general is better than the usual Hurricanes. In a straight line the acceleration is good, but especially in a dive, this is what you notice with the extra weight, it has great acceleration. Energy retention in the horizontal is decent, but in the vertical, for the same kind of reasons, the vertical energy retention is less, because this is a much heavier plane than the normal Hurricanes. Climb rate in the plane is also below average and worse than the other Hurricanes. All in all, even the turn time is a little bit affected by it, but I would still call the turn time decent and good with flap usage. The flaps are quite nice because they only revolve at 500 kilometers an hour. So overall, the Sea Hurricane is a lesser version of the Hurricane Mark 1 late, and you have to make work of it. It doesn't mean it's a bad plane. It is actually a little bit better in the boom and zoom roll than, for example, the 1 late, because of its ability to pick up energy quicker. So when you accelerate in a dive, you have more chances to get up higher and to continue your boom and zooming. Although you don't want to do long dives, because the plane does stiffen up a little bit and it doesn't have the greatest top speed in a dive. The roll rate overall is average. Overall maneuverability I would call decent. There is no real overheating in this plane either. That is a nice thing. Pretty good. I didn't have any issues with it. And the durability in the plane is good, of course. It can take a lot of damage, maybe even a little more than the usual Hurricanes, because of the increased structural integrity. But I haven't really tested that out to the max. I have not been sitting there taking damage on purpose. But I have taken solid hits and a lot of damage. Got back to the airfield heavily damaged, and the plane still handled pretty nicely even when only one wing is hurt. So yeah, solid plane when it comes to that. But if you compare it to the other Hurricanes, there really in general sense is not much reason to fly this one out over the others, although the better acceleration is nice, but pretty much everything else is a little bit less good than in the usual Hurricanes. Now, after the initial 3 kills we had, which went pretty rapidly, I thought I would easily get an ace in this match, but it was long looking for the last few targets, as we had to go to the enemy airfield, catching this Breda 88 coming out from a reload. He's going for some more ground targets, and he doesn't seem to be aware of me just quite yet, as of course the Breda doesn't have very good defensive gunnery. Not at all, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I flew that lovely plane. So he would have to go for a head-on or something. Oh, it actually does have one gunner. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Oh, I remember that incorrectly. It does have a gunner, this plane. It just manages to get through those trees there and try to get back to the airfield. But we take off the left wing and pilot snipe at the same time. Good, and we'll leave him behind. We are getting shot at by the airfield now, though. We are easily within range. And we have to get the hell out of here. We're in range of at least half, maybe all of the guns actually right now. Because we were within 3.5 kilometers of that guy who's sitting on the airfield AFK. And that means that most guns are within 5 kilometers. That is usually the range in which they start firing. So we picked up a water leak and I decided to go back to the airfield. As we also don't have too many rounds left and I don't want to risk this airfield. These airfields on this map have a lot of extra AA guns. Very, very lethal. So I plan to go back here. Try to get back to the airfield and repair. And while maybe a few of my allies could get in and get that guy. So 4 kills and 2 assists so far. Pretty decent. But and there we go. I made the right call because my engine was definitely dying. And it is dying fast right now. I'm at 2k altitude right now though. And the airfield is within 15 kilometers. They're running 250, so yeah, I think we would have made that easily. Tickets run out though, and unfortunately we lose this match. We get a first place in the team with 4 air targets and 2 enemy kill assists. Let's see what kind of rewards we got for that performance. We've got the best squad, Terror of the Sky, Bulletproof and On Hand, 24,000 silver lions and 1500 research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. Now, all in all, I'm not sure if I should recommend this plane over something like the Hurricane Mark 1 Late. That plane really has slightly better maximum speeds, better energy retention, better climb rate, better turn time even. And the acceleration in the Sea Hurricane is better and thus makes it slightly better at boom and zooming. With the extra speed it can pick up, and it can keep up the short boom and zoom runs a little longer while keeping its energy up compared to the Hurricane Mark 1 Late. But for the rest, I think the Hurricane Mark 1 Late is the better Hurricane in this case, and I would choose that over this one. Or if you want bigger guns, you can go for the Hurricane Mark 4, but or the Hurricane Mark 2B, which has even more Browning machine guns. So a difficult choice. They're all 2.0. They're all at the same rating. And this one, arguably the worst, but it is still a good plane and still competitive at its battle rating. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.